Hello friends, this is Dr. Sitesh Roy, your super specialist in clinical immunology, allergy and asthma, coming to you with this special on COVID-19 vaccines in India. As you are well aware, two vaccines, Covishield and Covaxin, have been given approval by the DCGI for emergency use in the country for treatment or for prevention of infection with SARS-CoV-2. As we realize, there have been many questions in people's minds and many controversies that have come up after this message has been given by the DCGI. So in this video, I will try to answer some of them. First, concerning the technology of the vaccine, the SARS-CoV-2 vaccine from AstraZeneca Oxford, made by the Serum Institute of India, is a adenovirus from chimpanzees. That's basically a common cold in chimpanzees, which has been inserted with a DNA of the spike protein, so that when it is injected into humans, it leads to production of antibodies and cellular immunity against the spike protein, because that is what is produced by the body. The Bharat Biotech Covaxin is a whole cell inactivated viron vaccine, which basically means that the entire virus is cultured, it is inactivated, and then in that state with something called an adjuvant, it is given as an injection so that the body mounts a response not just to the spike protein but also to the envelope protein and something called the nucleocapsid proteins. So it's a more holistic response to the virus than just responding to spike proteins, which is what most of the other vaccines are focusing on. Now, regarding the trials that led to the approval of these vaccines, as we know, the Covishield vaccine from Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine has been approved in UK and Brazil and a couple of other countries in the world, and then in India. This has been done on preliminary data that has been gathered from around 12 to 13,000 people who were in the phase 3 clinical trial of this study in UK, in Brazil and in South Africa. The actual trial includes 30,000 people, so we still have data to come in on quite a few people, but a preliminary publication has shown that the vaccine is about 70% effective in the large group. And when looked at subsets of people who got half the dose of the vaccine first and then the full dose, the efficacy is about 90%. We do not have efficacy data for the Bharat Biotech Covaxin vaccine at this point of time in public domain. I'm sure that they have submitted some data to the DCGI and the scientific committee that reviewed the data, but we do not have it available to us to know how effective it is amongst the people who are injected. Remember that originally it was said that even if a vaccine is 50% effective, it would get approval. But to have a vaccine ready for emergency use without having its efficacy data is truly something that's very new, something that has never happened before. And of course, we are in a pandemic situation in a very unique circumstance. The other thing that came up was the question of vaccinating people who are getting the infection. Now, during an infection, vaccination is never done. Vaccination is always done to prevent an infection from happening. So it cannot be done for people during a surge in infections for the people who are having infections, but for the people who may be exposed to it, it could be done. But remember that for a vaccine to work, it requires the first dose, the booster dose, which is anywhere between 14 to 28 days later, and the immune protection occurs around 7 to 14 days after that at the optimal level. So we are talking about anywhere between 5 to 6 weeks after a person gets vaccinated that they can truly feel that they are relatively protected from the SARS-CoV-2 infection. And so pre-vaccination and post-vaccination, a person still needs to recognize that wearing the mask, maintaining physical distancing, hand washing and hand sanitizing is going to be just as important even if you've been vaccinated, just as it was important if you had the infection already, because the vaccines will hopefully prevent the infection from happening, but if the infection does occur, you will have ready antibodies and killer cells and immune cells to fight off the virus much faster. So infection is still possible even after receiving the vaccine, and this is an important message for everyone to have. Now, the other area that has been controversial has been whether one vaccine will work better against the new variants or mutants that are there. And in this, you do have to realize that a hypothetical situation where you have a vaccine that works not just on the spike but also on the envelope and the nucleocapsid may give more protection than only a vaccine working on the spike protein, because the spike protein is what is mutating the fastest in COVID-19. Seems like a theoretical possibility, but there is no data to support that at this point of time, so we can't say that with certainty. The next area of controversy that has come up in different media has been about the vaccines being non-vegetarian in their origin. Now, we know that the mRNA vaccines do not seem to have anything in them that suggests that they have a non-vegetarian source, but both the Covishield vaccine and the Covaxin are grown, the viruses that from which these are derived. One is the chimpanzee adenovirus and the other is the actual SARS-CoV-2 virus. Both of these are grown on what is called Vero cell lines. Vero cell lines are cell lines on which viruses are cultured across the globe for decades, and these are derived from the kidney of something called the African green monkey. So this becomes a non-vegetarian source. The next thing, for the Vero cell line to survive and for the virus to grow and replicate on it, it requires a culture medium which has many different proteins and substances and buffers added to it, and amongst them is something called fetal bovine serum, or FBS for short. This is derived from calf's blood, and that too fetal calves, which are unborn calves. And so this again becomes a potential non-vegetarian source. But what we have to realize is, after the virus is cultured, there are many steps that it goes through before it reaches the ultimate purified vaccine state that it is injected into people's arms. And so there is really no non-vegetarian protein that can potentially be detected in the final end product vaccine. That does not change the fact that in preparation of the vaccine, these are used, and hence it is up to each person, according to the basis of their culture, religion, conscience, whatever you may say, to decide whether they take the vaccine or not. I would say that people who are at high risk of getting the infection, people with hypertension, diabetes, heart diseases, chronic illnesses, cancer, recovering cancer patients, people with immunosuppression, all of these people and people above the age of 50 certainly should consider getting the vaccine to protect themselves and certainly also stop the spread of the virus to others. Besides this, frontline healthcare workers for sure would benefit from taking the vaccine, and so would other members of the population, depending on the protocol and the stages in which the vaccinations are given. So friends, these are some of the key points about the COVID-19 vaccine. Certainly in terms of side effects that a person may see, it is very well known that getting pain at the site of injection, potentially having a low-grade fever, having some redness or swelling on the arm, these are possibilities. Having fatigue or myalgia, muscle aches, is also a possibility. Serious reactions such as were seen in terms of anaphylactic or systemic allergic reactions that were seen with the Pfizer and Moderna mRNA vaccines haven't yet been described with Covishield or Covaxin, but these can unfortunately develop at any point of time with any vaccine that you take. And so only during the post-marketing surveillance, and when more thousands and thousands and lakhs and millions of people get the vaccine, will we know better about who is truly reacting adversely to some component in the vaccine that might be there. So with that, friends, hopefully you have had a lot of your questions answered about the Covishield and Covaxin, respectively from AstraZeneca, Oxford and the Serum Institute of India manufacturing it, and also from Bharat Biotech. If you all have further questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the box down below our video, and we shall try to respond to them in the earliest time possible. Take care, stay safe, work on your own immune system. Remember, that's the best thing that God has given us to protect ourselves. Take care, stay safe. God bless us all.